Now, your officials have faced a tough time at these community meetings, and the recent Pakafire meeting saw one of your officials take some rather personal comments. What do you say about that?
I think for me, so if we reference that particular meeting and the meetings that have followed, so there was a meeting that followed out of Bayview. The structure of the meeting that followed provided greater value, I think, to the majority of people who were at the meeting. There were people there, like if I reflect on Pakofai, there were probably 5 or 6 people who had the greater part of the audience, who were doing all the speaking. But there were a lot of people there who didn't. So the difference in terms of Bayview, which was the meeting to follow, in which Sandra and Hastings District Council team changed to, was to allow those people to come up and go to different agencies at their choice to be able to speak to them and raise their issues. So I attended Bayview, along with many of our councillors, and we had a great throng of people who came up to us to tell us about their stories, their concerns, questions that they had. It was a greater valued construct in terms of a community meeting. Since then, I've been to some of the ones down in Central Hawke's Bay, different construct. So I think if we manage the meetings in a way that allows the greater majority to be able to have their say, that's a good value meeting.
Now, situations like that, and also your frontline staff, what are you doing as CEO to protect and safeguard them against sort of anger and that out there from people who are frustrated by the situation they're in? What are you doing to protect them?
So well-being of our staff is one of my priorities. It's one of my highest priorities. And I think from the outset, leading into the cyclone and in the early days of the response, the weeks to follow, we've been focused on that well-being. So my staff have always had access to EAP services, but also we've brought in 2 psychologists as well, who have been here on site and just allowing people to come and go as they please. Through our executive team and through our managers, we've been monitoring closely just to see if there's signs of people who are wavering a wee bit under this. We've also had some of our own staff who have been massively affected by that. We had someone who lost their farm up in Esk. We've had others who have been flooded. And so we've tried to give special attention to them, leave where they needed to go and clean their properties up. Well-being about our staff has been uppermost. It continues to be the case even today. You know, I think one of the learnings we got from Christchurch was that you will lose your staff in the breach of an event, or you will lose your staff in the aftermath in the 18 months to follow. And our one is providing as much support and help and relief as we can.
Were there many incidents of frontline staff like digger drivers or whatever out there being abused by the public?
There have been some. There have been some, and we've tried to deal with those case by case. So the answer is yes.